Yes, hello everyone, and welcome to the Man United agenda. And it is a quick, brief update of what's going on around Manchester United at the moment regarding Paul Pogba. But before we get into it, guys, we had some sad news today that one of our subscriber, Kelly, has passed away. We'd like to send out our best wishes for her family and condolence, and we're praying for the family on the Man United agenda. So, guys, big up. So, sad news to begin with. And now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what's going on at Manchester United. So, guys, Paul Pogba injured for France International. This is the first time around where we will find Deschamps doesn't come up with something stupid about him not playing for Manchester United, not getting to Man United team or being a substitute. Injured in training. So let's start off now. And apparently he's going to be out for 6 weeks. Talk, is that a big miss, or you don't believe it is for Paul Pogba being out?
I mean, considering where we are right now, I suppose not as big a miss as it could have been had we been playing much better, more organised football, with Paul Pogba being an integral part of that. As it stands, I mean, yeah, listen, it's going to be a miss, of course, because he's one of the best midfielders in the world. There's going to be, we are going to miss him. But again, we've had him there uninjured, and it's not really made a difference, has it? So, in the current state of the club, it is what it is. It's not such a massive deal for me right now.
And Rebel, is it a big miss, or for me, I look at Paul Pogba is a big miss. I know a lot of people might doubt it and question me and say, why do I think Paul Pogba is a big miss? The reason why, and I know I watched your show yesterday as well on the United Agenda. I've been watching the show for God knows how long now. We've been doing the show for a long time. And it's a case of the system of play. It's about the style of football that Manchester United play right now. So do you think if we had Paul Pogba under probably a different manager, would we get the best out of Paul Pogba? Because I've watched videos of him in the changing room, and he's telling people and showing people, like, leading the team of how to close people down and how to get the best out of his teammate. So when it comes to Manchester United, it seems like a lot of fans are blind to probably his quality, what he brings, and only see what he's having on pitch.
So that's the thing. That's, you know what, you saying that to us right here, right now. I mean, do we even need to say any more about the whole setup of the manager and the coaching? For the fact
we'll get to the coaching later on.
Talking about telling his teammates how to close. I mean, what's going on there? You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy. That's like going in the ring with Muhammad Ali and then saying, right, look, this is how as a supposed, what did he call him Monday? The guy in the corner, in the
cornerman.
The cornerman.
Second.
Trying to teach Muhammad Ali how to box. It's crazy.
Or it could be getting in a ring with Omondi.
No thanks.
No chance.
No.
Brilliant. Sorry, carry on, Rebel.
But I suppose when you think about Paul Pogba, he didn't get cost £100 million for nothing when we brought him back. He was a guy that was in form for Juventus. He was doing amazing things for Juventus. He did amazing things for France during that World Cup win. He's had his off points in the French international team, and he's been criticised as well from time to time. But we clearly aren't utilising Paul to the way we could possibly be. The question for me, though, is, from what I've read, it's another soft tissue injury, a thigh injury. And you'd think if we are doing what we're supposed to be doing in terms of training and maintaining muscle core strength and all the rest of it, we seem to be picking up a lot of these soft tissue injuries lately, and it is an area of concern. But it would absolutely be moronic for any of us to suggest that Paul Pogba would not be missed, because if you don't forget it, he had 7 assists in 3 games to start the season. Yeah. So when he's on it, like, he's a game changer. But it's getting our team to that level where we have that Paul Pogba arrive at least every other game.
Monday, it's your turn to take over, Paul Pogba. And obviously, with that on Monday, he has quoted, if the room is right, he's going to, obviously, once he's back, he's going to come back stronger and fitter and raring to fight for the team as well.
Yes, that's great. I mean, I want him as part of the squad. I think he's a great player. All this, the thing you said earlier about him being a leader, I think he is a leader. It's just that he gets a raw deal, in my opinion. There's circumstances at play that people would rather focus on his dancing or his haircut or what he does off the pitch. I think as a player, I think he's top draw player. And if he's utilised, as Rebel was just saying, if you utilise the player correctly, we could have a really class, consistent player out there. But there's a lot of, I think with Paul Pogba, I heard Scholes say the other day, he needs to do the simple thing. Scholes is a bit old school. Paul Pogba's new school. But it's how you tune in to get the best out of these players like Martial, Paul Pogba. There's something about these guys where you have to tap in. And if you've got the right sort of element of coaching or understanding from the coaches, you'll be able to tap into them, get the best out of them. Know what's needed. I've got a feeling we've struggled to get the best out of Paul Pogba. We're disappointed not because of the price, but we know we haven't tapped into his potential and what he really could do. If for me, for example, I think he solves all our midfield problems because he's 6'2", 6'3". He's built, he's strong, he's wiry, he's talented. He's got a great first touch. He can pick up the ball in tight areas. I think he could be a number 6 quite easily if he wanted to play that way, But he does all these little flicks and tricks and everything else. And I think a right manager would take that out of his game and say to him, look, this is your job, use your physical and just play simple and benefit for the team, But he's got a lot of talent. He used it on the pitch. He likes to express himself, but it doesn't benefit the team so much. So I think a manager and the coaches need to coach a little bit of that out of him. You can save that. You've got a highlight reel now for years to come. Save that now. Let's focus on the team. And I would be, I was coaching Man United or manager of Man United, especially with Paul Pogba, I'd say to him, bruv, brilliant, you're a great player, but now I want you to do A, B, and C, simple things, for the sake of the team. And the injury is unfortunate because we got Fred, McTominay, and beyond that, Matic and Donny van de Beek. And I think we're going to struggle a bit for that bit of creativity. And we're going to be going to these sort of kind of players who don't really do much, don't really have, especially Fred and McTominay. I forget the other two I like, but Fred and McTominay. I do, as in, I like Matic, I like Donny. They can give you something. But Fred and McTominay, without Pogba being there, I just think, oh my God, are we going to resort to this now? Where are we going to get our play? I'm going to be watching games, getting frustrated, seeing them give passes away, being out of shape, all these kind of things. So, yeah, get well soon, Paul Pogba. I hope you get back, and I hope you sign a contract as well.
Yeah. Kicking into that, what you're saying there on Monday, we're talking about utilising Paul Pogba in a way, but could it be a possibility, or if the board and managers has been clever enough to build a team around Paul Pogba to utilise him? Because like we're saying, we listen to Paul Scholes and what Paul Scholes say, and it's almost like you need someone there to encourage him. But I honestly think if we built a team around Paul Pogba when he first signed for Manchester United, rather than, again, we're getting superstars at the moment at Manchester United. I don't think it's a team. It's just players build up with individual talent and brilliance that can affect a game rather than a team. And I think if we built a team around Paul Pogba, I think Man United probably be more successful. Again, yeah. I'm not sure. I was thinking.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not hogging, but very clear what I have to say here. When Pogba was playing at Juventus, this is what Paul Scholes said. When he was playing at Juventus, he was around experienced players, and he was told what to do, and he did his job, and he was effective. Since he's come to Man United, he was the superstar. He seems to be the top man, and he needs to be led. He's not a leader in that respect. It's not a disrespect or anything to him. It's just the type of player he is. And this is what Scholes was basically trying to say to him. He needs to be led. So if you're not being led on the field by a captain or someone around him, where else is he going to be led from? It's management and the coaching staff. And Ollie is there to pat him on the back, but he's not. There's no respect there. I don't see the respect there to say, yeah, I'm going to sit there and listen to you and nod my head and say, oh, really, and be in awe and take it on board and go and do that. I don't see that with Ollie. Like I say, I'm not inspired by Ollie's interview. I'm not inspired by anything whenever he talks. So I can't imagine the players are either.
That's why I said what I said at the start. right now, are we going to miss him with our current setup? No, because we ain't getting the best out of him. So, you know what? Listen, we know what we've got in Paul Pogba. We know what he brings to the game. We know what he brings to the team. But like I say, when you've got a setup around him that is just not bringing that out of him and getting the best out of him, that has now emanated out into the rest of the squad. We're not getting the best out of a lot of players, in my opinion. There's more to be gained from a lot of these players. And, it's just a damning indictment that we're actually saying the best midfield player in the world, we're not going to miss him. That's I mean, come on, that's all we need to say. You say that, and then that's it. That tells you the story where we are right now. And it's, for the board especially, they should be looking at that thinking, well, this is, they've got the best midfield player. Plus, all right, listen, whether people will agree if he is the number one or not, but he's definitely within the top two, all day long of creative midfield players. So he can do a host of different things. We know, like Mondays just said, and Rebels just said, he can do a lot of different things. And when you get the right people around him to bring that out, but again, this is all about, consistency in terms of what it is he's being asked to do. It's all right saying, like David Moyes. I was watching David Moyes talking about how he changed it up with West Ham to beat Liverpool. And I found it really interesting. So I went back and watched. And I was like, oh, yeah, I see where you're going. I see what you've done there. And again, it's like a little subtle keep. It was more or less the same thing they were doing, but they just changed one player and asked him to do something a little bit different. And that was, this is with United. We're trying to change formation during games. Against teams that are like, the best passing team in the world. And it's just, I mean, I don't know. I keep asking myself that question. I'm thinking, wait a minute, surely that didn't happen, did it? Did that really happen?
It did.
Talking of Paul Pogba, though, and I got to go back to a player that used to play everywhere for us. He was Fergie's first name on the team sheet, John O'Shea. If there was a job that needed doing, he'd done it. He was a very limited player in comparison to Paul Pogba. And I do think there's a bit of a pandemic after creeping into Manchester United. We all know what's going on out in the real world with Corona and all the rest of it. But the reality of the situation is we're getting players to trying to be jack of all trades instead of master of their main role. We have Pogba going left wing. We have Pogba playing the pivot. We have Pogba playing the 10. We have Pogba playing right. We have Pogba... Players are getting thrown all over the place, and tactically, they're not building into a system. If you have Pogba in his best role playing there, and you say, right, Pogba, if you're on the pitch, you're there. And then, even though you might have a slightly less talented 6, are you not better off with a 6 that knows his role than Paul Pogba, who's supremely talented, trying to play 6 and maybe making 1 or 2 errors because of not being used to what he's supposed to be doing, or trying to play what he knows, which obviously leaves others exposed then if he's stepping outside of where he should be. But we see this with so many players at United at the moment. And that, I think, is a big problem in the way that we say how to use Paul Pogba.
Going back to that as well, with the Paul Pogba, obviously, I believe he's a baller. That's what I call Paul Pogba. He's a baller. But I just think the media and other pundits, football pundits, sort of almost...
Graham Souness, say it. Go on.
Well, we're not going to call names, but I think they make a mountain of a mole here, because the problem you've got is if that was any other player, you wouldn't hear the amount of criticism that Pogba get compared to other players. There's other players out there who don't get nothing near it.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing near it. But the media, certain other football, we've got a legend, what we call a legend, who would sit there and absolutely annihilate Paul Pogba, but then will back the manager for making, all these silly decisions at the club at the moment. So again, there's no balance there. There's no sort of cohesion.
Oh, let me say something. This is, in a roundabout way, what Graham Souness has always constantly been doing is criticising the management and the coaching staff. Really, think about it. That's what he's doing. It's not Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's not just come to Man United, signed up, because it's not listen, I used to hear people talking about he cost the money, they cost that money. I'm like, I always said, don't mention how much players cost. It's got nothing to do with anything. Doesn't matter if they cost £1 or 300 billion. got nothing to do with it. Forget the price of a player. It's what you're bringing to the team, their abilities. We know, like I said, Paul Pogba's abilities are like immeasurable. He's got everything, absolutely everything. So it's, again, going back to here, why would you criticize a player who's not performing continually?
Yeah.
Because he's not the best isn't being brought out of him. So in a roundabout way, Souness is actually he's having a go at the way that United are using him, the coaches and the management. You know,
I disagree. I don't think so. I've seen enough evidence now to say that Souness and players of that ilk.
One sec. I'm not saying he might have an agenda
and players of that ilk, Souness, players of that ilk, even Paul Scholes, for example. There's a transition now. We've seen different generation of players, different generation of football, and everything else. And sometimes these players look on and say, "I wouldn't accept that. That's not acceptable for me. This is not how I would want these guys to play," you know. And this is what we're getting. So I just think that Souness is openly calling out his name and saying certain things about him, maybe because he thinks there's more in the tank, and he would demand more simplicity or to remove certain elements out of his game. That's what I think. But he does call him out a lot, you know. And I just think
what we're saying,
I think you have to be consistent a lot of times. Because I'm watching Harry Kane for England or watching Harry Kane for Tottenham at the moment. And I'm thinking, this guy's really poor. He's got a bad attitude. He's not trying hard. He doesn't run. He doesn't. Why are people boosting him up, you know, so much? Calling him world class when you've got Lewandowski, who's like 33, 34, and banging goals for fun, time after time. You see what I'm saying? There's inconsistencies with media. And this is what I'm saying. And we've even come to the point now where even ex-teammates of Ollie, we're finding inconsistencies where they're not being completely honest, you know? The only place you're going to find real honesty these days is on the Man United agenda.
What I'm saying, Monday, what I'm saying, like, if you think about it though, in a logical sense, if the players if you didn't have managers at clubs and no coaching staff, and it was just the individual, it was just the players, and they went out and did their own thing, and that's to try and work as a collective together, and we weren't getting the best out of Paul Pogba, then it's like, yeah, you're always having to go Paul Pogba, and then you're looking for anybody else to blame. Is it because of this, that, or the other? No, because there's no one else involved. But there is, like I said, it's the coaching and the management. So in a roundabout way, yeah, okay, maybe he's using Paul Pogba as an example. But like I say, for me, but in a roundabout way, going round the houses with it, is Paul Pogba's the target, because like Graham Souness must, you know, he knows what Paul Pogba's got in his locker, but we ain't getting the best out of him. So I don't know if.
Yeah, but we might not be. Rebel, I don't know if you agree with this. I think we might not be getting the best out of him, but Graham Souness ain't implying, in my opinion, that it's the coaching. He's implying it's Pogba who's got a bad attitude and not getting the best out. And that's what I feel he's implying. Rebel, do you agree with me? He's like, is it the coaching Souness is saying, or is he saying Pogba's got a bad attitude?
I would slide on the way that Souness approaches certain players, that there is an inconsistency of approach. Like, as you said, Harry Kane, when he was doing his bit of business trying to get to City during the summer, there wasn't a squeak about him. If that was Paul Pogba, Souness would have nailed him.
Yeah. This comment here.
Pogba plays his best football in the midfield three. Whether with Juventus or the France team, and United never play a midfield three.
4-3-3. That's why we've been calling for 4-3-3 for how long have we been calling for that? You know, for me, it'd be absolutely sensational in a midfield three with the right, you know,
right players
team around him in terms of behind the scenes. You know, not the team as in players.
To do that though goes back to one fundamental item, and I think we've been blue in the face talking about it since the start of the season. A proper six.
Yeah, I know. But even still, Rebel. Let me just say this. Listen, you know what? If you're a really great man manager and a great coach and a great tactician, you can in my opinion, you can get one of those other midfielders to do a six role. Right? Maybe not the best six in the world. Everybody's going to start lording over and wanting to offer millions and millions of pounds for. But you could turn Fred or Scott McTominay into a versatile number six player. If you've got the abilities to do so, you can do it. These guys are the professional footballers, athletes, especially McTominay, with him being the younger one, right? He's still malleable, in my opinion. He can be molded. He can still be, you know, coached and worked on an individual basis to work at specific parts of being a number six, which we all understand what the roles of that number six are. So I believe that if with the right people around in the club, could actually do that and then go for a 4-3-3. And like I say, with Ollie, it's always a case of being reluctant to try things and be brave. And that's one of the things that really annoys me.
You know, just going back to Matt Tomley thing, I'm going to say this. I've seen enough of him now. He's coming up to 24, 25 maybe. I don't know his age exactly. I've seen enough for him to say to myself, he's not going to take us to that sort of level. If you look at tight European games where he's having to pick up the ball in tight areas and everything else, I don't think he's got the ability at all. I think he's a good runner. He can drive and everything else. But when it comes, like, look at the Villarreal final last year, everyone was saying he's man of the match. But he was for running and running around like a headless chicken. Not disrespecting, but he's man of the match because he was trying hard and running around trying to get back the ball, but he wasn't doing anything with the ball. Do you understand what I'm saying? Something, why you can call this guy a man of the match just because he put a bit of effort in? You're supposed to do this. So I'm just saying, in tight European games where you need to be good on the ball. And when I compared him to Cisse, we were playing against AC Milan. Cisse was like, give me the ball. Got 2 men on me, no worries. They were still popping it into his feet. And he knew exactly what to do, play out of trouble, all that kind of thing. Tight areas. I don't see that in Fred or Matt Tomley. So I don't think he can take us to that next level.
Well, don't get me wrong, because you know what my opinion is with Scott McTominay. I've said this many times. He hasn't got the skill set to be a ball carrier going forward into dangerous areas.
Not ball carrier, not ball carrier, I'm saying. Playing tight areas when you're playing in this Champions League football, top level football, or even against Man City or Liverpool. I don't think he's got the ability to play in those tight areas. A bit like Fellaini, for example. Fellaini didn't have that. So signing players like that is beyond me at Manchester United.
What I'm saying is let's just say, for example, under, let's say, the best at the moment, Pep Guardiola and his team, if McTominay was there, do you think Pep would be able to get more out of McTominay in that department?
Because Pep requires certain attributes of a player, which I don't think McTominay's got. This is why you see Rodri always in position, first touch, play the way he's facing, reads the ball, 360, knows what's going on around him, and all these players have got a higher IQ, better touch, better technique, and they're that's why they're more suited for him. Pep's got certain kind of
we got to go.
Anyway,
I'm going to cut you guys. So we're going to go through some injury. Obviously, Raphael is injured. He's got a fire. He's going to be out now as well.
Who?
Varane.
Varane. Okay.
Yeah. You obviously got Paul Pogba out. You got Edis Cavani is out as well. So these guys ain't going to make the Chelsea game. So you've got. Let me go back to the dates where apparently they're due back. So. You've got Raphael, who's basically meant to be coming back in a second. Then you've got Pogba. We don't know when he's going to be back. We don't know. Oh, is it? Okay.
Second, yeah.
You got Edis Cavani's 50-50 at the moment for probably the Watford game. You got Luke Shaw. He's ruled out with head face injury, concussion. He's ruled out.
That's a week.
So at the moment, we're in injury. We've got a crisis at Manchester United at the moment with the injury. But let's move on, guys. On Monday, to move on, can you go through some of these comments quickly? And also...
you've been putting them up, haven't you? So there's a lot... I mean, they've got a lot of guys here. Adam Morris, Mr. B. I've seen Mr. B in the house. Hope you're well, Mr. B. Mike Green, how you doing, sir? And Andy Herbert, SHAH United, Box, Akil... Talk MU, you're there and here. Let's have a look. Sorry if I'm missing someone out here, but thanks everyone for your contribution. Oh yeah, Ole, not Ola Kunle, Ola Kunle.
Let me go here.
So I'm gonna pick out a random one, and just to touch on, and I'm gonna say. Box says Lewandowski was robbed of a Ballon d'Or last year and this year. This was saying high levels. We're talking about high levels of world-class players and inconsistency in saying this. Just because someone's British or English, blonde-haired, blue-eyed hero who doesn't do much in World Cups or European Championships, he's suddenly rated in that same bubble. No, there's a major difference. And
Robin as well. Robin, big him up.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Robin. How you doing? Is Robin like Scandinavian? With a name like that? Where would you be from, Robin? Welcome.
Let us know. If you're watching as well, guys, for the first time, the Man at Agenda, please like, please share, please subscribe. We are on the road to 1K subscriber, and we do appreciate all your comments. We can't go through all of them. We will put them up on the screen, but we'll never leave you out. Throughout the weeks and stuff, we'll go and we'll make sure we pick out one of your names as well to read comments out. So, guys, we're going to move on to a bit of the coaching, the coaching staff at Manchester United at the moment, because looking today, Rebel, I'm going to come to you. Coaching staff, Man United. I think this is your research, so I think you should front this.
Yeah,
it's terrible when you look at the average age of the coaching staff at Manchester United compared to sort of like Liverpool and Man City. It's really bad. And these are journeymen, as what we were saying today on the WhatsApp. The reason being we call them journeymen is because some of them are following Ole Gunnar Solskjaer all around the world. There's others of them who's been at Man United since 2013. Some of them been there since Ferguson.
Yep. Like, look at it, breaking it down. Michael Carrick, first ever job in management, in coaching. That is the assistant manager job at Manchester United under Jose. Continues to hold it under Ollie. Cutting his teeth along with Ollie at a big top level job. Then we've got McKenna. His previous experience was under 18 manager at Spurs. He did a bit of under 18s with us. And then again got promoted into the big time as part of a very green tree now, as you're seeing, for an opening start. Phelan. He's been everywhere, Mike Phelan. Started off with Norwich, then moved to Blackpool, then went back to under 18s. Was a conditioning coach for a while.
Can I interrupt you a second? Mike Phelan is like MU. He's everywhere.
Yep.
Can you mention his Hull City? Can you mention his Hull City? His time at Hull City, Rebel.
That was a quiz question on the Football Mastermind Challenge.
Yeah. I knew that one on Monday.
But just to go back to, he was a conditioning coach, and we're talking about injuries lot. And Mike Phelan, the most experienced man in our front four of management, was a conditioning coach. So we're picking up a lot of injuries considering his experience. Then he went to Norwich, assistant manager, Hull assistant manager, Hull manager. So he was manager between 16 and 17, and he was assistant manager of 15 and 16. Then went to Central Coast, and then he came back and landed the Manchester United job as assistant manager to Ollie. And then we have this Perrott guy. His experience was conditioning coaching again, but we're still getting so many soft tissue injuries. He's followed Ollie around since he got the Cardiff job.
So any of these guys that we're talking about here, have any of them actually won anything?
Not that I can see, no.
No.
So
no.
How many are there, Rebel? How many of those? Some reel off how many names there are.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
13.
We've got 12 coaching in our coaching staff team. That excludes scouts, excludes physios, excludes anything else. We've got 12 people, one of whom was the chief analyst way back in Fergie's time.
But none of them have won anything.
Well, arguably Jim Lawler has, because he would have been part of Fergie's successful period.
Yeah. But I mean, apart from that, you know, the main guys
Mike Phelan,
who are in the, you know, the guts of it, have not won anything, have they?
Mike came in after we won the Champions League in 08 against Chelsea. He would have been part of the reserves up until then. He would have been very much in the kind of background. But in terms of frontline management, Mike Phelan only came in after the 08 Champions League final.
Yes. And he's famously remembered to bursting that balloon, and Ferguson went mental at him. If anyone wants to watch that.
I just want to see Rush Mano as well. Big up Rush. He's from our friend Mr. Flying Pig. Rush Mano.
Oh, big up. Thank you for joining in.
Rush Mano, give us, if you've got any news for us, mate, please share it, because I know this guy is on it when it comes to breaking news and a nice juicy gossip. So big up to you, bro.
Yeah, thank you, Rush. Appreciate it, guys. Remember, please like, please share, please subscribe to the Man United Agenda. We are on the road to 1K subscriber, and remember, I'll give this one to. I think we'll give this to Rebel now. I think this is Rebel's line going forward. Rebel, about the shirt. Talk to us about the shirt.
We are of course giving away a signed Bruno Fernandes mint condition jersey when we reach 1,000 subscribers. But not only that, if you subscribe today, you will be in and live with us anytime we have breaking Manchester United news. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button.
Brilliant. So guys, I'm just going to put you on big screen for like about 1 minute or so, and it's a difficult one because obviously we got a few injuries. We got looking at the coaching staff as well. We were all excited when when the news was churning around with certain coaching staff come to Man United, and we're thinking, right, our defense coach is going to get better. But the problem is right now, guys, we're probably looking at from last season to this season. We're better off last season than this season, and we got better players on Monday.
Yeah, simply, but look, we can only look on. I don't go to the training ground. I don't like with my binoculars looking to see what's been said and what sort of drills they're doing, that kind of thing. Then I would have a better assessment about what's going on. The best assessment I've had since this all came out, because it's granted, you're right there, Solo. We did start employing. I said at the start of the season and last season, the best transfers we seem to be making is behind the scenes with the scouts. Sorry, not the scouts, with the staff and the coaching staff. We seem to be sort of sorting that area out. But obviously, the results don't reflect that at the moment. You know, even with conceding goals from corners and set pieces, defensive errors, that kind of thing. So I believe in what is being said or what's being leaked in the paper from the players themselves, who have the insight to know they're there every day. They can see it, and then for them to come out and it's been leaked out that there's issues about novice training drills and everything else. That's, to me, speaks volumes more than we can speculate here on the show. Just for example, who's the guy, ex-Bournemouth manager? I saw a clip of him managing down at Newcastle. Yeah, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe? Is it Howe? Yeah, Eddie Howe. For example, just 5-second clip I saw. And already he's like convicted in what he's saying. Both. Do it and demonstrating the drill, everything else, you know, and make it a bit of fun. He's clear, decisive in what he's saying. And I thought, I like the sound of that, and I've heard such good things about him as a coach. I'm not trying to endorse him for Man United, but I'm just saying that's the kind of thing.
Wait, 1 second. You missed it. They're Rebel. The OMONDI of the week. You just missed another clip.
Oh
no.
We'll go
come on.
I've timestamped it. Don't worry.
The thing there is, Monday.
Anyway, that's my piece on it. It's the players. What the players have said is that's more conclusive than what we could say about it. And I think I've always suspected that, but for it to come out like that, I think that speaks volumes. I think we need a big, major overhaul of the training to suit the players, the standard of training. Like, we got world-class players, and maybe they're saying they're novice coaching. That's really disappointing. You know, it's a bit like Roy Keane going to Portugal or the World Cup and having substandard training facilities, that sort of thing. He said something about it.
It's an overall plan. It's the overall plan. If it's all right individual, coaching individually, but if it's not all geared towards an overall plan, like we keep saying, patterns of play, ideas, in and out of possession, transition, etc., then it makes no sense, does it? If you could go to Carrington and watch the training, you might see, the coaches being like what you've just described with Eddie Howe. Again, if there is nothing like behind that, and they're all just kind of like, well, yeah, all right, well, what does it relate to? Well, you're telling me to do blah blah, but when am I supposed to do blah blah? It's all a bit of a mismatch for me. It's just a total mismatch, and it's just quite clearly and evidently it's just not working, is it? Because for the players themselves to come out and say it, that's the writing on the wall, mate.
And which that leads me to my final point, and it comes back to what we just went through with the coaching. I also looked at City and Liverpool, and what I saw was very tight, very compact, very streamlined systems. Not a clunky board of directors. The owners were at the top level, and then they appointed footballing people, directors of football, and a person working maybe to that director of football to deal with the football tasks. I also looked at the coaching numbers under Pep and Klopp. They're very streamlined, very compact. They go in with an idyllic idea of how they want to play, maybe with some adjustments depending on situational issues. But everything was more compact. We have a very clunky, very overstaffed coaching ticket by the looks of it in comparison to the other league clubs. And when we're looking at Ollie, we need to not only look at Ollie, we need to look at our layers. And we need to get that right, because if we don't get the layers right and our coaching patterns right and structures right, we will be talking about this, whether it's Brendan Rodgers, whether it's Tuchel, whether it's whoever you want to appoint to Manchester United manager, if we don't have those structures right, we will be back here in a year, 2 years' time with the same stories.
Okay, let's go back to, we're going to wrap it up there. Let's go back to Anthony. Anthony, the Man United agenda hoodie comes in grey, white, black, red. Whatever color you like, you let me know. We get your Man United agenda hoodie. So guys, if you're liking, please like, please share, please subscribe. We're on the Man United agenda. And thanks to every single person who has contributed to us tonight. And also, guys, go on Monday.
What's on the agenda for the rest of the week? I need to get my diary.
Okay, so on the agenda, we'll be back tomorrow night as well. And then we'll be back with a blue side of Manchester for the quiz show on Friday at 8:30. And then we'll have the Friday night takeaway with Talk. We'll be hosting it. So these are the show that's up and coming for the rest of the week. So on Monday, get your diary out.
Thank you very much, Steph.
Thank you. Thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing to the Man United Agenda. And please remember, before I go, we'll give Rebel the final stage to talk about his football shirt.
My football shirt? My Roy Keane football shirt?
No, the Bruno Fernandes one.
Oh, yes. As we said before, if you want to stay up to date with all the breaking Manchester United news, we will get it to you as hot as it comes off the presses. Make sure you're smashing that subscribe button. And do not forget, we are giving away a coveted, signed Portuguese international Bruno Fernandes shirt to one of our lucky subscribers at 1,000 subscriptions. So make sure you keep it here.
And we are
just quickly, I'll be watching Bruno and Ronaldo in Ireland, in Dublin. Is it Lansdowne Road? Maybe it's not Lansdowne Road anymore. I'll be watching them put the work in on Ireland.
Just want to say that's an interesting comment there, which we'll be looking at from Rushmano. Barcelona are looking at Cavani in January, which we didn't mention. So
we could do a transfer roundup. The transfer roundup will be on Monday, won't it? It's Monday night. So guys, if you're watching, please like, please share, subscribe. As I said earlier on the show, right at the beginning of the show, we are one of our subscriber, Kelly, has sadly passed away. So we are sending our wish and all our blessing to her, her family, and her friends, and the United Agenda. We pray for you. So guys, if you're watching, please share your condolences as well with Kelly and her family at this time. And from us at the Man United Agenda, we'll see you very soon. Thank you for watching, guys.
Ciao.